And we're good. Welcome to season 2, episode 7. I almost said season 7 there. We're not there yet. We will be there, but we're not there yet.
Not long to go.
We're getting towards there. Though time flies, doesn't it, Majid?
Time does fly. Time does fly. Yeah, so it's a perfect analogy to use. If you just think about how long it's been since all this coronavirus stuff has been going on, that's most of the year.
It really is.
9 months.
Yes. 9 months since it really
I
took
remember,
the limelight.
Yeah, but I remember posting something about 9 months ago saying that this coronavirus stuff is going to be responsible for a lot of babies being born in January. And they are being born in, December. This is the period we're having
lockdown babies, yeah?
Lockdown babies. This is the lockdown babies' time right now. This is
wow.
What's
Imagine being in your teens and 20s and being referred to as the lockdown generation. Or, there's Generation Z and Y and millennials and I don't know what else there is. Yeah. You don't really want to be known as the lockdown babies, do you?
Well, not really. I don't know. It's not like they had any choice, but it's not like the babies themselves had it.
Really, there's not a lot else going on.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, we have now, come to understand that for those people who didn't actually really kind of delve in so deeply, thinking about time and how time affects them and what they're doing, now it kind of puts people more into perspective about, hang on, either the time is dragging for them or time is flying by.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because of all these kind of differences in your lifestyle, I think some people are finding that the time is dragging, literally dragging. And for some people, time is just flying.
But do you know why that is, though? It's because they're waiting for something. Have you noticed that time does drag when you're waiting for something rather than making something happen? And I think that's all the difference.
Yeah, of course.
Because time is time.
I use this analogy sometimes sometimes I use this analogy when we're talking about time. I have this theory that we feel time more when we're in the process of learning things. Like if you remember when we were kids and we would feel time, you know what I mean? We would understand time. I mean, we would feel that things are happening. We would feel that we are in a moment. But the reason we were feeling we were in that moment is because we were engrossed in that moment. We were in the process of processing. We were in the process of learning. And I found that whenever we're learning something, when we're processing something, we feel time more than when we're on autopilot. So when we're younger, we're in a constant process of learning new things. So we feel time more. As we've grown older, because we don't need to learn how to walk, we don't need to learn how to eat properly or how to go to the toilet and all these other things, or even education as much, although we should be learning all the time.
Yeah.
But because we're not learning as much in our older age, we're not feeling time as much. I mean, let me give you an example. When you're driving somewhere, into a new place.
Okay.
Have you noticed that the feeling that you get once you're on your way there, the journey there feels longer than the way back?
Because on the way back, you're recognizing places, aren't you? It's all familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. To be fair, when I travel with the wife or kids, they'll always say that. When they're coming back, we got there so quick. We're not there yet. It's just the fact that you recognize the city or the streets.
It feels like we got back so quick.
Yeah. It's true. Time. Talk to me about time. Time doctor.
Oh, well, you know what? Don't call me the time doctor. And to be honest with you, I had a very good friend.
Yes.
He was dubbed the time doctor.
Yeah, and I feel it's an honourable mention, I think.
It's definitely an honourable mention. What a guy. He's a genius. You know, he was ranked up there in the world. Mike Gardner, really, really nice guy. Some of you who are watching or listening to this may recognise the name. Sadly, we lost him a couple of years ago. And what a guy. I could never take that name. You know what? I don't think anybody would be suited to that name other than him. The guy's an author. He was a thought leader in time management. It's a shame we didn't get, much more years with him to learn from him. But, he was a great guy. Anyway, talking about time, I think it's about time.
It's about time.
We've got back to business. We've had a lot of business. We had a lot of banter, and we've had a lot of discussions beyond banter. But when it comes to time management, I think there is this. I always say there's no such thing as time management.
there's no such thing as time management.
I don't think there's anything. I think it's just a euphemism for self-management. We can't manage time. Time is not in our control. We can only manage ourselves.
Okay. See, I was going to ask that. The time management fallacy. And I'm sure a lot of people were thinking that, well, hang on, time management is an art. You know, those that are really good at it really flourish, are really productive, really get things done. So when you call it a fallacy, it's like, wait, what? So there's no such thing as time management? And now that you open it up like that, it does make sense. Time is constant.
We can't control time.
No.
We all have the same amount of time in a day.
Yes.
How much of that is allocated to us as we live is obviously determined by the Almighty. But we cannot control time itself. What we can control is only ourselves and how we manage ourselves within that given period of time. So my take on it is there's no such thing as time management itself. I'm being a bit pedantic maybe, but it's a euphemism. Time management is a euphemism for self-management, how we manage ourselves in that time. And this is where the crux of it is. I mean, a lot of people do discuss or question or, talk about, I need training on time management. I need to be helped on time management. And for some people, things are really clear. Some people, they understand that, if I need to do something, I'm going to prioritize. What am I going to prioritize my tasks on? Is it task management or is it time management? I personally prefer to work on task management unless I am stuck, not even stuck. If I've organized a specific time for something, then I will manage my tasks to fit in around that time or that allocated appointment or meeting or whatever it is that might be the case.
Okay.
But all in all, that's what we feel, is the point of discussion. How do we manage ourselves within our lives so that we're making the most of the time we have, or get rid of the distractions which are distracting us from what we need to be doing. I mean, earlier today I was reading a statistic that we get distractions around 7 to 8 times in an hour. So I could just be sitting and working, and 7 or 8 times in an hour I'll be getting some kind of distraction. Nowadays it's a lot of this.
It really is this, yeah.
Your social media, your mobile phones, your phone calls, your text messages, these kind of things are what distract us from the task at hand. So the question then is, how do we manage ourselves through those distractions, or how do we manage ourselves through the times when we're maybe not distracted but keeping focused?
Okay, so I suppose it's managing ourselves, isn't it? Really, that's the key thing. How do you deal with distractions?
Well, I think a lot of this comes down to some proactive measures and some reactive measures, and sometimes you have to be interactive with what you're doing.
Not with the distraction, right?
Maybe with the distraction itself. If you think about how many people are working from home nowadays,
yes,
they're going to be distracted by kids, family, and stuff like that. You're going to have to be interactive at some stage. It's not just going to be about being proactive. You can be proactive and say, look, guys, not to be disturbed between this time and this time. I'm going to come on calls. I don't want anyone coming into my office or this room or this space. But if something happens and somebody does come in, somebody's knocked on the door, like, I don't know, a delivery man for something, you didn't expect it. What do?
Yes, you did. You ordered that pizza, didn't you? Come on. It just doesn't turn up.
Guilty.
But, coming back to the point about people working from home, initially, I thought, wow, this is not going to work for so many people. I'm sure people were the same. How am I supposed to work from home? Like, I need to get away from home, the kids, the pets, the spouse, the environment and everything to get some work done. And the more and more I read about it, not specifically working from home, but I was reading studies on how long we can concentrate for, or how long we're at sort of optimum for. It's about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, if you were to manage yourself in such a way where you think, people do this all the time. I mean, my daughter was doing the other day, she was revising for mock exams, and she was just glued to her books and her screen for, I think, 3 hours. And I could see that she was getting frustrated. And I said, you've got to step away. Like, after 3 hours of looking at one thing on one screen, there's no way you're fully focused on that anymore. You've probably gone into autopilot long ago and you've just not realized. So in that sense, if you manage yourself in such a way where you entertain those distractions, but in intervals, let your phone beep. Don't put it away in the drawer for hours on end. Come to it after 20 minutes, half an hour. Take 5.
But it's when that 5 turns into 50, which is the issue.
This is management, isn't it? Yeah, which it does. Which it does.
For a lot of people,
it's
does.
very difficult to pick up your phone and put it away after 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not even enough to check your notifications.
Think about how many accounts everybody has nowadays on social media. You got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, nowadays TikTok. I mean, I don't use TikTok, but
don't.
Twitter.
My advice: don't use TikTok.
I know. But this is what I'm saying. Everyone's got so many different social media platforms that they're on. And then those of us who have got a healthy amount of following or number of following, people tag you into stuff. So, when we look at things like time management, if you're finding yourself being frustrated that you're having to check your social media so often, one of the things that I do is I've restricted, being tagged and, how many things would go up, automatically onto my timeline. If someone tagged me, I would have to review it first. Another thing that I when I felt personally that helps me in terms of managing my time with social media is that I don't check. I mean, I'm really bad with this. I have this itch, right?
Are you sure you want to share that?
Yeah, I'm sharing my itch with you guys.
Okay.
This is how personal this relationship is, and you should appreciate it. I'm getting really personal with you guys. So I have this itch that anytime I hear the phone ping, I have to check.
Okay.
Anytime I hear it vibrate, I have to check. But I've changed that habit now. In the last year or so, because I have a habit of also doing a detox on social media. That we talked about fear of missing out. By the way, if you've not, watched that episode on fear of missing out or missing out of fear, you've got to go out and watch that. I did have this fear of missing out on, my phone's just bleeped. Unless it's a client. Clients usually call me anyway. My clients just don't randomly just leave a text message. It's very rare for them to do that. But if they do, they know that I'll get back to them. But what I don't do is check messages all the time as soon as they get in.
Do you check voicemails?
I do, yeah.
I don't.
Oh, do you not?
You know what? I just thought we were past voicemails.
But why wouldn't you check them?
The only people that leave voicemails are salespeople, automated things, seeing if you've been in an accident, or
No, I don't.
Do you get actual voicemails?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you're, the problem is if you don't deactivate that feature, then people will assume that you've checked the voicemail and you just couldn't be asked to get back to it.
Yeah. See, that's where I was going wrong. So what I've done now is my greeting is to say, look, either text me or email me.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm not gonna. Yeah. But okay, so you had an itch, but now you don't.
I mean, there's a cure for everything nowadays. What I'm saying is, there is a cure for every kind of itch nowadays. I tend not to scratch every time I feel the itch. That's the secret to it, because I leave it. Our friend Mike Gardner, the Time Doctor, he always used to say, look, select a certain number of select a time in which you're going to go back and you're going to go and check your emails, your social media and whatever. Don't just check it all the time. Go back and check your social media when you arrive at that particular time. So designate certain times of the day when you're going to check your emails, you're going to check your social media and messages and whatever. Otherwise, just put that damn thing away, put the phone away and get on with your work, because it's going to be a huge distraction. And I really kind of felt, you know what, this is it. This is what I needed to do. And I heard him say this a few years ago, and I've implemented it to a degree most times. But I've even, people who know me know that I do a social media detox. every year during the month of Ramadan, I take myself out of the social media bubble. So no Facebook or anything. The only account that I keep open is my LinkedIn, purely for business inquiries. Otherwise, nothing. I am completely away from social media. So I think when Bazi says I so need a social media detox, but where do I start? I would say, you know what, start during Ramadan. You get used to it. You get accustomed to being away from social media, and you know what? It's a spiritual detox time as well. Start detoxing. In all the ways that you can. Imran says can't listen in if it wasn't for social media. Oh yeah, but
well played. Well played.
You're right. The only thing you should be subscribed to is Beardo's Media, because it's obviously full of value. Everything else is just not worth it, is it? You should unsubscribe yourself from all of the social media elements, channels, subscriptions, whatever. But when it comes to
but this is just it though. If you allow yourself a designated time for everything, it just so happens to be Tuesdays at 7:00. That's fine.
That's it. Yes, exactly. So every Tuesday at 7:00 you're going to be tuning into Beardo's Media. You've accounted for that. So before 7:00 you'll have.
Or the few hours up to it, not to sort of go onto Facebook, go on to so and so,
Yeah.
And then that way you look forward to it. You'll have some notifications there. You'll have some, a bit of juicy stuff there. If you check your notifications every 5 minutes,
what's that chemical called that gets released when it makes you feel good when you get likes and stuff on social media? There's a chemical in your body which it's like a hormone kind of
endorphins.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, okay. I think that's what it is, where it starts making you feel really happy and puts you on a high. And then if you're not getting as many likes or interactions on social media, it starts to make people feel deflated. So, these things need to be really looked at, because it could be to your detriment of your health and your mental health if you're always looking on social media anyway. Ideally, for me personally, I like to manage my day through tasks, not through setting certain time for certain things. Now there's this theory, I can't remember the author of the book. He wrote the theory of eat the frog, right? Basically meaning,
did I hear that right?
Yeah, eat the frog. So what he was trying to say is, at the beginning of your day, you should do the tasks which you hate, yeah, because they're the ones that you're constantly putting off. So the tasks that you're constantly putting off, do them first, and then do the good tasks.
I stand corrected. Apparently it's dopamine.
Is it dopamine?
I don't know. I'm not really into my...
Okay. What did you say it was?
Endorphins?
I don't know what it was. I'm not a medical kind of guy.
We'll agree to disagree. It's both. It's a bit of this and a bit of that.
Dopamine, I think, sounds a bit more accurate, to be fair.
Routine and time management is super important. I think I read somewhere that successful people touch something once. So, for example, if you read an email, you deal with it there and then. No adding to a to-do list or pile of things you will never do.
100%.
I've read a lot about to-do lists, and apparently they are not good. They're not something that successful people or people who achieve or entrepreneurs or, they just don't believe in to-do lists.
100%. I think Shireen is right, because that's another thing that I've started to do in the last 3 years, I would say.
Do.
No, not do the to-do list, but more of the actioning.
A lot of do going on there. To-dos and not
to do. I've started to become a lot more proactive when it comes to actioning things. Like, for example, an email. It would be done there and then when I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, is that the right way to do it?
Depending on what else is taking place at the same time.
I'll tell you what it is. There's two elements there, right? You don't just... for anybody listening and watching, it's not just a case of reply to every email there and then. Yes, you are replying to it when you read it, but you're not always reading it as soon as it comes in. Do you see what I mean? If you've allocated yourself, you said, look, I'm going to check it's lunchtime now.
Yeah.
I've checked. I'm now going to come back to my inbox at 3:00.
Yeah.
That way, for the last 3 hours or whatever it is, if there's something substantial in there, it's not every 5 minutes. Because if you're checking every 5 minutes, one, you've wasted, I don't know how many minutes throughout those 3 hours just checking for nothing. Leave it for a few hours.
Yeah.
That way you know that you've saved all that time in between.
And if it's something urgent, people will call you anyway. They'll find a way to contact you other than just through emails.
Myra says enzymes, which is that not the breakdown of food? No,
she has a food business. She's thinking about food all the time.
Okay.
So that's what probably she's thinking about enzymes. It is dopamine. Enzymes are everywhere. But thanks for that.
Well, you see, we learn so much, don't we?
Yeah.
As we go, it's good. But no, you're right.
So yeah, selecting times of the day when you're going to check your email and social media. So it could be like 9 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Actually, I think the Time Doctor says check it less frequently than that even. But check it on specific times of the day.
Unless you're in a super intense job. Let's be honest, most of us are not. Twice a day to check your emails is more than sufficient. You know, if you're in that kind of a job, of course, you may be on your laptop and stuff all the time anyway. You'll see it. It'll pop up somewhere. But this is my opinion. Anything that's sent via email is not super urgent. If it was, they'd call you. Yeah? I mean, have you ever been in an emergency situation and needed to contact someone and tell them something really important and thought,
let me email
I'll do it via email?
Yeah, no.
It's not the done thing, is it?
No, it's not.
So, one thing we've got to understand is emails are not that important that you need to check every 5 minutes if anything landed.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it depends on the industry you're in, isn't it?
Of course,
and
yeah.
if you've got a project going on in relating to which you're expecting some communication, then obviously you're going to check a little bit more often.
Even then, Maj, you know,
yeah,
I've had emails sent to me, and when it is time sensitive, for example, my accountant will say, look, you need to okay this, or you need to submit this.
He'll call and say, I'm sending you an email.
Check your email now.
It, yeah.
And then there you go.
Yeah.
So save yourself a bunch of time just there. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Emails is one thing.
Yeah.
Social media is just one thing. That's two things from a massive list of things that we do.
But they're not small things. Email
They're
might be a small
not.
thing for some people, but social media is a massive thing. The thing is, a lot of this is self-inflicted, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So social media stuff a lot of it is self-inflicted. Here's another thing that I found people having difficulty with when it comes to managing what they're doing. For example, task. I mean, I prefer to be task managing than what in inverted commas time managing, right? I notice a lot of people underestimate the time it would take them to complete a task, and then they're left feeling deflated. So, for example, let's just say right now I'm planning my day for tomorrow, yeah, and in that day I'm planning to complete 3 tasks, yeah. Now, if I've completely underestimated how much time each task is going to take me, by the time I've completed half the day, and if I've only gone through half of one task, right, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm not going to get anywhere near task number 2 or 3, then that's going to add pressure on me again. It's
going to cause you to lag. If you're that kind of a person where, look, me for example, when I know I'm not going to be able to do something by a certain time, and I'm like, I'm halfway in, I'm going to fail. I'll probably get less done than I would have if I'd not had that thought. You know, if you're working on something and you've got a 4 o'clock deadline and you just do not look at the time, and you end up not finishing till 4:30, okay, it doesn't matter. You've pile drive through and you've got it done. If you look at the time and you glance at the time and it's 3:30 and you think, shit, I'm not getting this done for 4 o'clock, you might even just walk away from it. You might think, you know what, leave it. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get this done in time.
Yeah,
just forget it. I can't be bothered.
And then that also has
a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
Myra says enzymes for the second time.
She thought we didn't listen. We were listening.
It is what it is, man. No,
we're reading your comments. Enzymes then. Yeah, it's enzyme. So task management, time management, managing yourself, setting certain times of the day for checking your emails and checking your social media.
So just so I've understood that right, managing the task rather than managing the time means allocating enough time to do that particular task, right? So it's not looking at your calendar and saying, look, between 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock I'm going to do this, or between 2 and 4 I'm going to do this. What's the difference?
No, so the way I prefer to do it is, rather than say at this time I'm going to be doing this, at this time, I'm saying today I'm going to be completing this task, and this task. So I set myself tasks to complete within the day, rather than set myself deadlines to complete the tasks.
Right.
So those tasks could take me from rather than 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, from 12 in the afternoon till 8 in the evening.
Okay, that's interesting. Probably a better way to look at it.
If you can get away
the way
with
the
it,
world
yeah.
is nowadays, you're not really restricted by time, are you? In the sense that you don't. Well, some people are still going to work as they normally would, but for most of us, we've learnt that there's another way to do things. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, even companies are realizing, look, hang on, these people working from home are actually more productive. They're getting more done. All that commute, all that tiring yourself out and getting wet in the rain and everything, you know, is counterproductive. So working from home is a win-win.
Shireen says, stay positive, stay motivated. In brackets, keep the chocolates close. She's got it nailed.
Yeah.
You've got it nailed.
Chocolate's for the win, isn't it? Chocolate
it has to be.
Never lets you down.
What do you call it? Brain food. Brain food.
It's all kinds of food. It's good. Chocolate good.
Actually, yeah. I mean, chocolate's known for a lot of things, isn't it? Not just the brain.
I saw that coming. I knew you were going to
we have
take
all
it there,
sorts of
man.
brains.
Yeah, that's a different itch altogether, man. Okay. So,
But it's true.
manage the task and not the time. Fantastic. I agree with that. I think that's brilliant.
I mean, yeah, so task management. But the problem there is when you underestimate or overestimate how much time it's going to take to complete the task, that's going to have a different negative impact on you. Now, if it's something that you do on a regular basis, you know that, for example, an accountant will know how long it'll take them to do the books for a certain client or put the payroll together for a certain client. They know which ones are going to take how long, you know, so the time is they'll have a good estimate on how long it will take. The issue is when this time management stuff creeps into your personal lives and it has a negative effect on your relationships as well. You know, a lot of the times we hear that phrase, don't we? Oh, I didn't get the time. I was meaning to call you, but I haven't found the time. And then you see and hear quotes about, look, if you really genuinely care about someone, you don't make time. Sorry, you will make time. You will make time. You won't wait for time. You'll make the time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't say I didn't get the time. You'll create the time if somebody they mean something of significance.
Have you heard like any sort of TED Talks or any of these videos where they break it down? You know, when people say I haven't got a minute to spare.
You pulled up some stats, didn't you? What were they again?
There's some fantastic stats, but there's how many minutes in a day? How many times have you heard the saying, I've not got a minute to spare?
Yeah, I haven't got a minute to spare,
1,440 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
Show me anyone that makes use of all of those. Even if you cut out the 8 hours of sleep, right? 8 hours sleep, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours work, 8 and 8, 16. You're left with 8 hours in your day. If you've slept the right amount and you've worked a solid shift, you're still left with 8 hours. 8 times 60, that's still 480 minutes.
Let me share another slide that you showed me. Let me see if I can bring it up on here. Share the screen. Application window. There we go. Right, I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully
Mandy says she loves the topic.
Oh, thanks, Mandy. Yeah, can you see that? Yeah.
Where are we? So based on statistics on time management, this is how we spend time during our entire lives.
So in an average life,
okay,
we spend 8 years and 4 months watching TV. Now that's an average person. Now imagine you've got several. I
like to think of myself as above average, so that's probably what goes to 10 years maybe
for you. Yeah, probably more. You haven't even started watching Ertugrul yet, so
I have.
Oh, you have?
I'm on episode 2.
Oh, episode 2.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Season 1, episode 2.
Hey, wallah, bay.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm hooked.
I told you.
I watched 2 episodes back to back, and I really wanted to watch the third one.
It's quite.
But by this time, it was like 2 in the morning. I thought, you know what? No.
it's apt for time management, isn't it? Now, how are you going to manage your time when you're spending so much time doing that? So 8 years and 4 months watching TV, 7 years trying to fall asleep. That's 7 years trying to fall asleep, not actually sleeping.
Wow. Yeah, do you know what? I believe that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that includes sleeping, though. No, actually, it can't do.
Okay. 7 years trying to fall asleep. Maybe, I don't know. 6. No, it can't do. It can't do. 6 years either on social media or on holiday. Now, I don't know when this statistics were put together, but I think that may have increased.
Social media,
Yeah.
definitely.
6 years either on social media or on holiday. Wow.
I know which I'd prefer, though.
You'd prefer
Or
social
be
media
on holiday
on
your
social media.
yeah. Multitasking, right?
4 years and 6 months eating, and again, I know you're above average, so make that 8
Definitely
years.
above average.
1 year and 4 months exercising. You're below average on that one, I think. I don't know if you're above average
I'm
on
of
that
the
one.
opinion that you go hard or you go home. I find myself going home a lot when it comes to exercising, you know?
1 year and 3 days socializing.
Yeah, I feel that could be higher.
Yeah, it's more because
Especially if you
of,
include things
how to-
like social media and the rest. But okay, that's astonishing statistics.
Farzana says after Netflix, that time span is inaccurate of TV watching. I'm inclined to agree. Those people who do have, who do watch things like that. Things like.
But see,
Netflix and
this
stuff.
is where it was supposed to be different. The whole concept of Netflix, YouTube, iPlayer, it was supposed to save us time. We're supposed to watch what we want when we want. Fast forward the commercial breaks, fast forward the boring bits, skip out the songs, or if you're into sort of Bollywood, whatever it is. But do you see where, because we're not managing ourselves, we end up watching crap? Like if you set out to watch, I don't know, EastEnders or Coronation Street, or are they still around?
I don't know.
So if you set out to watch one of these things, right, a series or whatever, by watching it on some form of catch-up,
Yeah.
you'd skip all the commercial breaks, you'd skip all the, riff-raff,
Yeah.
and you'd watch a 30-minute episode in like 25 minutes. And you'd watch it when you want to in your spare time.
Yeah.
But the problem now is you're going on to the next video and the next suggested video and whatever else comes. And before you know it, you're watching cats do stunts.
I don't want to know.
and,
I don't want to know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know what kind of cats you've been watching.
Cool cats.
Yeah, I bet.
But it's true though, isn't it? And if we're not managing ourselves, speaking of cool cats, if you know. But no, those statistics, I can believe that when you really tally it up.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we spend a third of our lives sleeping, right? And probably a third, if not more, working or at work. Now, that sounds like a lot. But I tell you, depending on your sort of perspective on life, that's 2/3 that are accounted for. Sleeping and working, which is the bulk of, what we do, isn't it? In adult life. That still leaves a third though. Yeah. So for people that think they haven't got time, you've got a third of your adult life which you're not sleeping or resting, you're not working or making a living. That's a hell of a lot of time. Yeah. Now, whether you choose to just end up sitting on Netflix for 4 hours a day, or scrolling through Facebook or TikTok. Oh my God, horrible thing, TikTok.
I don't even want to go on.
Yeah, no, you don't.
want to check
But
it.
I don't believe people who say, I don't have time. I'm one of those people. I say it, but I don't believe myself.
I don't believe you most of the time either.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
it's
I'm on
not-
the same page.
Everybody has time. You have the time. You're just not using it. Now, if
I need to record this on like
the
some
thing
kind
is,
of a
look,
short voice
don't
note.
say, I don't have time. Say,
I don't give a
I
shit.
didn't really consider it that important
I
enough.
don't care.
Yeah, I don't
You're
care.
not that
I
important.
didn't want to enough. That
Yeah.
I'll believe. Probably
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
don't say you haven't got time to go to the gym. Of course you have. This is me, like, just talking to myself in the mirror every morning.
I was going to say, I'm sure you.
I have this word to myself, Ali, come on. Like, I'll spend an hour waiting for these cheeseburgers to turn up at my door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, not doing anything productive
Nothing.
because it's important.
Yeah.
The task of waiting is important.
It's important,
Well, what are you
yeah,
doing?
it is.
Well, I'm waiting for the delivery.
I could order my pizzas, go to the gym, and be back in time for
You
the.
could as well.
And you know what? I think that's a wicked concept.
You say it, but you're not going to do it.
I think
Ali's not going to do shit.
if fast food places delivered to the gym car park and gave an hour's time and said, look, we're going to give you 10% off if you pick up from the gym. Fantastic. I'd do that. I'll order at 7 o'clock
Mhm.
and 8 o'clock when I'm leaving the gym, food. Incentive or what, right?
I don't know, man. Some people might want to spend extra time in the jacuzzi because they don't usually go. Not everybody goes.
No,
to the
that
gym
time
to
is
work
in the
out.
jacuzzi.
The eating
If I'm
time.
going to
bring
the
bring the pizzas into my jacuzzi,
Yeah,
my
if
friend.
I'm actually going to do a workout, then I need
or
2
bring the
hours.
doner kebab into the sauna and keep it nice and.
That's a whole different experience, man. I'm
Imagine
thinking
that,
about
eating a doner kebab in the sauna.
in the sauna.
I'm just thinking about it. Oh.
We've got children watching,
I don't
man.
want to make any sound effects. But Shireen says it's the ease and on-demand nature that is addictive. With TV, social media, even work, I'm the type that won't put a book down until I have finished it. You've got to know yourself to break it and get efficient. She's the type of person who won't put the book down until it's finished. I'm the kind of person who won't even pick the flipping book up because I'm not a
Go
reader.
hard or go home. That's it.
But the thing is, I get what she's saying. It's the on-demand nature of a lot of things, which people... Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how, especially looking at the newer concept of how life should be modelled, how everything should be on demand. Things should be quicker to, for you to receive them. Delivery should be on the same day. Everything should be on demand. You want to watch a movie straight on your TV. If you, whatever, everything's on demand. Yet still, we have a habit of being late.
Yes.
And people have a habit of letting people down. People themselves, when it comes to delivering,
Yeah.
it's a totally different ball game, different mindset. But when it comes to wanting,
Receiving,
the demand, or receiving, is
Your standards are a lot higher, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, this is
If
true.
everybody applied the same standards on themselves,
You know what else is interesting? Is how much more time we should have now. If you go back, I don't know, maybe before my time, maybe before your time even, if we're going to be drastic, everything used to take so much longer.
the golden era.
In the golden era, you used to maybe have to change 2 buses to get to work, right?
Yeah,
You'd maybe walk part of that journey.
yeah,
Dinner used to take for ages.
yeah.
There
Eating
wasn't
it took even longer.
Yeah, there wasn't microwave meals or instant noodles
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
all of these things. Everything was a long, drawn out procedure,
Mm.
and now it's just
Well,
click.
think about the basic routines or methods of learning.
Hmm.
I remember in this weather, even worse than this, heavy snow. I remember going into town, walking into town towards the library to make sure I got the right book for the research that I was doing, because there was no internet in them days.
Yeah.
I remember the days of walking to the library and reserve, because the book wasn't there. I'd have to reserve it.
Yeah.
I'd have to wait. I'd have to wait another 3 days or 7 days before that book was returned, and then I would have to go and collect the book, and then I have to return the book unless I got fined.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I'd get fined.
Yes.
I remember those days of having to wait for that and then working hard and grafting for the exams. Nowadays, any information you want, it's all there on the internet. The time element has completely changed. The experience of time has changed altogether.
Where is all that time? With the commute is not half as long. In fact, the work itself is
We
not
had
half
more
as long.
time for family and gatherings at the
Then,
same time. Yeah.
Do you know, I think the average person then must have worked 10, 12 hours a day. These 6-hour days, 7-hour days, 1-hour lunch breaks. This is a recent thing. Our parents and grandparents didn't have a 6-hour day or a 37.5-hour week.
Yeah. Yeah.
They worked way harder than us.
Yeah. And in much harsher conditions. There was no
Much
health and
harsher
safety
yeah,
before
exactly.
1974 formally anyway.
They managed to find time, family time, play
They would
time,
trek
everything.
halfway across the country
Oh,
to
yeah.
meet somebody who was associated to as an associate,
Someone, yeah.
who was associated to an
Of an-
associate.
Yeah. We did it. Imagine, we used
Yeah,
to
we did. Yeah,
we used to live on the west coast of Ayrshire in Scotland. Yeah.
Oh, Scotland.
Now I was born there. I grew up there. I remember making the trek to the East Midlands, to Derby, Birmingham, Redditch, all this kind of stuff. And it's a 6-7 hour journey each way. My dad would take a day for this.
Yeah.
We'd get up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure he didn't sleep because he'd come home from work at 1, 2 o'clock.
Wow.
But anyway, we're leaving home at 4 o'clock in the morning in the dark. We're getting here for sort of 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when people are waking up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're visiting family, our family of family, forth, and then we'll trek back. Occasionally we'd stay the night, but we used to find the time. And I'll be honest with you.
Well, I go to Birmingham and I don't want to come back. I need to stay.
Some of those family members, I think we saw more of then.
Yeah.
When it was a 6-hour journey away than we do now because they're maybe down the road.
Well, this is true. I was asked by somebody, I went to Pakistan and I was asked about one of our neighbors. How is Brother Asif, for example? Because Asif over in Pakistan lives directly across my house. Well, he did. He's recently moved in recent years, right? Still the same village, but he's built a new house. But at that time, he was living directly across the road. Not even a road, it was in a gully, right? Directly opposite. And here in the UK, he lives like 2 streets behind.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So somebody asked me, how is he? I said, I'm sure he's okay. So, what do you mean?
Wow,
when was the last time you saw him?
That,
When was the last time you saw him? I say, well, I see him once every couple of months or something. He probably drives past and we wave a hand at each other.
Yeah.
But that's about it, And it made me realize, crap, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And this was going a few years back, and I thought to myself, I think this is going back in 2007.
Yeah.
And somebody kept repeating it, and the fact that he kept repeating it to his friends, to demonstrate how busy we are. And to be honest with you, this is the impression we've been giving people, how busy we are. The reality is, we've made ourselves look busier than we really are.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of the times, I mean, I've known some friends who, are busy, right? Busy job karnech. How busy can you be that for so many years can go by and you can't even, make the effort to meet up with friends. They're supposed to be. I
suppose a lot of this comes down to all these kind of wants have become needs now.
Well, yeah,
we classify it as needs now.
Yeah, I mean, Frazana says, I didn't think I could pray into my 5 times a day, but now I rotate around it. It's totally doable. And the thing is because she's recognized it as a priority. Yeah. So this is a conundrum, isn't it? What's more important and what's more urgent?
Yeah. Rotating your day around it is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
And
this could be one of your, if you're a Muslim and you're praying 5 times a day, or you wish you would be praying 5 times a day, this could be one of those things where you say, okay, when it's prayer times, is the times I'm going to check my social media and emails.
There's a big plus side to that. If you've got 5, what's the word? Posts or 5 kind of, when you're on a journey and you mark somewhere, what's it called?
Mark.
No, not landmark, but there's a name for it. It slips my mind at the moment. But if you've got 5 points in your day that your other stuff is going to revolve around or rotate around or be, I'll tell you what I find so heartwarming. Yeah, I've got in-laws from up the road in Leicester. Yeah, they're from an African, Malawi, Gujarati background, and I don't know whether it's the
checkpoints, as Ishan was saying.
This is the one, yeah. Checkpoint. Now, I don't know whether it's the fact that it's more renowned or in their culture, but they refer to their salah as my. So they'll say, I'm just going to pray my Fajr. I'm just going to catch my Asr,
we do that as a family.
That's fantastic. I think that's so beautiful. And they do revolve their stuff around, even dinner or this or that.
Yeah.
And to the extent they're not even using, these anymore. It's, we'll eat after Zohar.
Yeah.
We'll do this at Maghrib. And I thought, you know what, amazing.
Well, we as a family live our life like that.
Yeah.
Our time revolves around the Salah prayer in terms of the tasks that we have to complete.
Yeah.
They will anything that we arrange, we will refer to rather than time.
Yeah.
Salah times.
Yes.
Because they say after
But
Zuhr.
do you see the difference?
A massive difference, mate. You know what? I've noticed. I've accidentally said that to some clients as well, and they're saying, "So what's Asr?" Sorry, what time did you say? Sorry, mate. I meant after 2:30 or something like that nowadays. So it's amazing. Whatever you hold as a priority in your life is going to take most importance, isn't it? Now, if something is of importance, it's going to be more significant a part of your life, and everything else can be worked around it, whatever that priority is. Now, if the priority is friends and family, you're going to work around your friends and family. I'm not saying that every day, everything should be behind friends and family, because family and friends will always recognize that there are other things that you need to do to make things work for the household. But the point being, when you've got certain things which are held of importance to you, then you will hold them as the priority. Now, as time goes on in the day, there will be times that when you're faced with a conundrum and you think to yourself, oh gosh, I've got to do this is very important, or oh gosh, I need to do this is priority or urgent. So important and urgent are two different things.
I was going to ask you about that, because you
don't. It's not straightforward at the best of times, but if you can think about it, importance being the need for something to be done,
but not now.
Not necessarily now. Urgent means the need for something to be done quickly.
So it's time sensitive. Okay.
That's time sensitive. Now, we have to be conscious of what's important and what's urgent. Chances are sometimes they'll both be in the same thing, Something could be important and urgent at the same thing.
What's your sort of advice to somebody who considers something important, or at least in their mind it's important, but at the same time they're struggling to make time for it in their day? I know a lot of people, we laugh about the gym, and generally it's banter and all that, but the truth is, the way that we eat now, the way that we work, the way that our lifestyle is, it's pretty imperative that we get that exercise in, more so for just our physical conditioning, but our mental also. There's so many benefits to it. But
whenever I'm faced with a situation of having to make a decision about something, I apply what we in NLP, it's a coaching technique of helping you decide whether to take action on something or not, or whether you're indecisive about something or not. There are four key questions we need to ask ourselves. Number one, what would happen if I do this? What would be the outcome if I did this? Number two, what would happen if I didn't do this? So if I didn't do something, whatever the proposal is, if I didn't go ahead, what would happen? Number three, what wouldn't happen if I did this? And number four, what wouldn't happen if I didn't do it? People usually stop at 1 and 2. What would happen if I do? What would happen if I don't? But you have to ask yourself the question, what wouldn't happen if I did? What wouldn't happen if I didn't? That gives you more clarity in making a decision.
I'm sorry, you got clarity from that? Because I'm confused.
Listen,
right now.
I'll check my diary. Maybe tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock I could book you in for a coaching session.
Book and like a PT session.
I'll go through it with you and in more detail.
Coming back to another point that we made earlier about revision and studying. Because you're a learning man, right? You went through the academic.
Of course I'm not. Who gives you that idea?
Your certificates. I saw them in the background of one of your lives. I mean, trying to sit for 6 hours straight and study, it's not good, is it?
No, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Our human minds aren't capable of focusing for that long. You need to have regular breaks. I mean, there are different studies which suggest that you need to take a break after so many, different times. whether it's after 20 minutes, or some people say even after 15. A concentration is lapsed after 10 minutes, according to some studies. It depends on what you're doing and how intensive it is and how much intellectual kind of energy it's using. But I wouldn't study for 6 hours straight. I would definitely take little breaks in between. Different people learn in different ways. You've got kinesthetic learners, people who like to get hands-on physically, to learn something. You've got people who learn through audio better, some visual learners. You've got people who learn from different styles and different learning methods.
So the one key element is to find which style of learning works for you.
That's the first one.
First, isn't it?
The second I would recommend, and one of the things that really helped me, is I always summarize my learning. So I've always said teaching is the best method of learning. Yeah. So if you can explain something to someone, you have a better understanding of it. If you can't explain it to somebody, your own understanding is wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can find somebody who you can pair up with as a partner to learn with, or even an accountability partner, which is good. If you can't get a coach or somebody to help you through these things, like somebody who's studying, like somebody who can do tuition and stuff for you. If you've got a fellow student who can be an accountability partner, time is better spent by making each other accountable for certain outcomes. Then you can hold them to account to those particular outcomes. It could be a friend, it could be somebody who knows what you're trying to study anyway. And the third thing I would say is summarize your learning at the end of what you've learned, because revision is something that you've already known, but you're revising it. But sometimes as students or someone learning, a lot of the times we've not even learnt it properly the first time. So it's not really revision, it's learning. What I find is what really works for me is like spider diagrams. Like, you got main core principle and you got branches of what each thing. Like, for example, I would summarize a whole paragraph or a whole concept into 2 words, and that will create an anchor. Again, I'm coming to NLP here now and talking about anchors and stuff. I make an anchor into my, even if I create a story out of that learning, that story will remind me, certain words will trigger memories of certain concepts. So there's lots of things you could do there.
What's the easiest way to free up an hour in your day?
What's the easiest way to free up an hour in your day?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you're already doing in your day. It's going to differ from individual to individual.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I must think most people nowadays would tend to spend a lot more time on the digital platforms than the physical kind of interactions, especially since our interactions are going to be limited anyway. I think just analyze, first of all, what you're doing throughout the day, and ask yourself why. I think the moment you ask yourself, whenever you do something, why am I going to do this? That's going to be the first thing that's going to help you understand, well, hang on, why am I going to do this? What's going to be the potential outcome? What am I looking to achieve by doing this? Yeah,
it's got to be worthy of your time, isn't it, in order for you to change your...
Yeah. I mean, we all know that time is one of those things, this is why we say we spend time or save time, because we're not really saving time itself, but some if you want to be want to go down that road, maybe you can say you're saving time. If something that was going to take you 20 minutes took you 10 minutes, you saved a bit of time there. But ideally, it's not something you want to waste, because you're never going to get it back. This is why when someone's late, it pisses me off because they've wasted my time. Don't you dare be late if you've arranged a meeting with me. But the reality is, I'm punctual. I demand punctuality. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who gets really cheesed off. I mean, I hate myself if I'm late. I have, and don't get me wrong, I have been late on a number of occasions, but I've kind of really beat myself up about it, and I'll be on the phone straight away, mate. Look, I'm so sorry. Yeah, just running 5 minutes late. Isn't it? Yeah. Unforeseen, but it still kind of really gets at me.
And I think I was listening to quite an interesting example. Is that there was an entrepreneur, and every minute of the day is accounted for of their week. Yeah, just scheduled. And somebody asked them, "Look, have you got 10 minutes to spare in the week? We want to have a chat with you or do a quick interview." And the entrepreneur goes, "Look, I haven't got a minute to spare." Yeah. Anyway, the next day, their boiler breaks or something, and their downstairs is flooded. Yeah. So now they have to find a time,
Yeah.
their time, to call a plumber and whatever.
Yeah.
And this has took 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
They've got it done. They found the time. They've got back on track.
Mm.
And an interesting point is that this entrepreneur said, look, if you'd have asked me in the week before, have I got 5 hours?
Mm.
I'd say no, I haven't even got an hour.
Mm.
But because this catastrophe or this whatever unforeseen circumstance
Is that to make the
arise,
time? Yeah.
I had to then find that time, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it, and whatever, I got what I'd done, had to do done, and out the way. So time it's relative, isn't it? It's just...
You know what? Allah swears by time in the Quran.
Subhanallah, okay.
This is the fascinating thing. Allah says by time, wal asr.
Mm-hmm.
Mankind is at a loss. By time. He swears by time. He takes an oath on time and says mankind is at a loss. How significant is that?
Mm-hmm. We should have started with that. That's giving me goosebumps, man.
Yeah, this is very fascinating. If you haven't, have a look at Surah Asr. Allah swears by and takes an oath on time, which is fascinating. From a psychological perspective, God is saying, you are at mankind, you are at a loss. And I swear by, I take an oath on time, you are at a loss.
Surah Asr is about, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are going to look it up, Sushmita Sen, she recites
We were just
Surah
talking.
Asr.
We were just talking about the Quran. You bring Sushmita Sen into it.
No, but she's...
Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah.
I'm not talking
Hawla wala
about,
quwwata
I'm
illa
not talking
billah.
about her Miss Universe days, although if you've got more time, you could always look into that. But what I'm saying is, if you've only got a minute to spare, look up Sushmita Sen. She recites...
I'll have an hour to spend.
I'm sure you would.
I'll make the time.
She recites Surah Asr, and then she goes on to sort of translate. A loose translation,
Yeah.
but translation nonetheless. And
I
it's
think I've seen
about time and patience. I'm sure you have, yeah.
Oh, of course.
It's probably me that sent it to you. But now, speaking of time, we seem to have run out for today's show.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. So, okay. Well, in that case, guys, thanks for tuning in this time again. And inshallah, we will. Again, we could have continued with this conversation for a lot longer. We were just getting.
If we had the time, right?
If we had the time. We just don't have the time.
See, I can't even say that again now. We don't have the time because we do.
We've just
Time
told
is
everybody
infinite.
we can't say that.
But no,
So-
it's been a really good episode. I've learned a lot. You know, through yourself and through the listeners. It's been an eye opener.
Same. And on that note, boys and girls and everybody in between,
It's really,
I don't know. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week, inshallah.
inshallah.
Take care.